Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring in Marcin. Today we're going to be talking about living inside of your task manager. Obviously, depending on how you feel, we understand, like I jump from one list management to another depending on the day, and working across different businesses, I find it hard to track, to stay inside of one system. There are days I get lazy, and I know that I've got to get better structure. And we know that you get your task list and you need to do what's most important when it's upper mind, and you're at your freshest, and then you have your one thing, and then you have your deep work, and then you've got the quick wins and stuff like that. So Marcin is going to give us a bit of background of how he structures all that just to help with the madness. Because obviously if you've got launch lists, sourcing lists, manufacturing lists, there's so many things to go across, you can get overwhelmed. So Marcin, do you want to give a full introduction to the listeners on who you are and give them a bit more of your background?
Sure. So my name is Marcin Chaszczewski. I wouldn't, even.
I'll butcher it. No, you're all good. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since I remember. I was always in the internet game, but in 2014 I stumbled upon the Amazon FBA private label business model, and I didn't believe a word the podcasters were saying, all the course sellers. So I decided to try it. I tried it, dove right into it, and managed to build a nice consistent brand with a good nice product line, highly customized. And after 2.5 years I managed to sell that brand successfully, so that was very, very nice. In the meantime, I was always this systems kind of guy. I always wanted to, outsource more and kind of make sure that I work the most efficient way possible. I think I have one of the oldest accounts on Upwork. It was Elan's back then, 10 years ago, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the meantime, when you start a new business, I always want to do, when you start fresh, so this Amazon thing was fresh, I wanted it to be perfect from the get-go, right? Perfectly systematized, perfectly laid out, everything was perfect. And then I started to share that with the community. And after selling the brand, I had some more time on my hands. So I'm helping Amazon sellers systematize their business so they can spend less time in operations and more time on the important stuff. But my favorite angle is spending time with their kids, because I have a 7-year-old, and that's my current,
Cool.
priority.
Cool. Well, then let's talk about living inside your task manager. I mean, you're a big fan of Asana. I mean, we were talking off call, and I go through all of them: Asana, Wunderlist, but for some bizarre reason, depending on where I am with my health, i.e., if I'm out on the road speaking, and late nights, jet lag, and stuff like that, I end up going from a structure, and then I get lazy, and then I end up being like a text edit, where I just, for some bizarre reason, when you got across the different businesses, I have to spit it out of my brain. I can't sit there and write them in different sections inside the task manager. I have to spit it all out first, and then cut and paste them into the task manager, and then arrange them after. So yeah, I mean, I can be very lazy when it comes to stuff like that, and depending on my mindset would depend on what project management system I will stick to. If that, I don't know if that sounds bizarre to you, but you like Asana, and you have a routine. Do you want to go into that yourself?
Sure, definitely. I can just related to what you were saying is that unfortunately in many of those task management systems, they force you to separate your businesses, and that's a really bad thing. And what happens is that you end up not with one global task list for your day. They tend to force you to split it for different businesses, and I think that's silly. And in your case, that definitely would be a bad idea, because we all want to see, okay, what's to be done for today. So Asana also forces you to do that, but there's ways to use Asana so you can have that global task list. So I also admit that sometimes I use a text editor to quickly, put the things that are in my head. But I think in my case, it may work better because I have a very strict morning routine. And that after doing all my weird, crazy meditational stuff, I actually sit down to asana and plan my day with asana. So that would be the time where I also look at the crazy, written down tasks somewhere else and actually allocate them to your asana. So if you have that part of your morning routine, no matter where you write the other tasks, as long as you do that. But Asana is similar to all the other tools. Trello is the other one, it's just different visually. But the way I start my day is I open my Asana, and here's also another trick maybe for you guys if you want to force yourself. I have my computer to start automatically at a certain hour and also open automatically my Chrome browser. And also, and here's different to probably most of you guys, is that the starting tabs on my Chrome are not the last open tabs, okay? Because that's what usually happens. You open and you have all the stuff that you were working yesterday, and suddenly you're like, okay, let's go back to work. My Chrome always starts with Asana as first tab open, right? And don't worry, there's a app called Save Tabs and a few other ones in Chrome extension shop that you can save tabs from yesterday, so you're not losing them. You simply, when you're ready to get back to work, you click that and it brings back the yesterday's tab. So anyway, that could be a trick to actually force you to start with Asana rather than going in. So when I open the Asana, first I go into my inbox. It's called inbox in Asana, where you get all the reporting that what happened since yesterday, since your last login to Asana. So usually since yesterday. And there you can see, your VAs and your team members asking you questions under each of the tasks. So there you can quickly reply, because they're usually very simple questions. They just need some help, guidance to follow, to go with the task. And then you can see all the tasks being completed, which is nice to see. Like psychologically, it's great to see that your team is working, and you can see all the green checks there. And also you can see new tasks being assigned to you, because I give my VA, a power to assign me tasks. It's not, it's a two-way kind of street. So once I clean that inbox, so basically I have the global view of what happened, and make sure it's inbox 0, so we clean everything. Then I go back to my task list. Main task list, and of course in many solutions they show you the whole list. So what I only do is I make sure that I hide all the tasks that are for tomorrow and further down in the future. I only look at today's task list. So the first thing I need to do is I can see the task list being assigned to me for today, but they were assigned by other people, right? So maybe they're not for today. They just use today date because they want you to see it today. So here you need to decide, okay, is it really for today, or maybe it's for tomorrow, for the next week? So this is the first kind of job you have to do. Make sure that the dates are proper. And if they're not for today, you move the dates and then they vanish from that list because they're not for today. So that's it. And then you actually end up with a list of the tasks for today. And usually it could be a long list and could be overwhelming. So in Asana, I use sections. So I sectioned that today's task list with a special section on the top called The One Thing. And if you haven't read the book, Google it, it's great, The One Thing. So here I decide, okay, what is the one thing that will move the needle? What is the most important task for today? And I move that task from the main list to that section, so it just stares at you, okay, this is the one you have to do today. And we talked about it off screen about that sometimes you get bad days, right? And in those bad days, if you were to pick the one thing, the one task for today, which usually is very important and sometimes very heavy, that could derail you for the day. So my rule is, if I have a good day and I feel productive and super pumped, I will pick the one thing, the super important task, and no matter how big it is. Yeah. But if I have a really bad day and it happens, I never do that. I pick the shortest, the easiest, the quickest task I can possibly find on that list.
Basically all the low-hanging fruit, so you feel like you've achieved something today, because it goes back to those lists. There's the important stuff and there's the non-important stuff. There's the sexy stuff and there's the non-sexy stuff, and sometimes you can go ahead and do all your little bits of artwork and stuff, but that's not paying the bills. That's not making jumps and strides on your business. And going down to the fact, psychologically, if you're exhausted or you're having a bad day, you do look for an easy way out, don't you? But you still want to look like you've done something in your own mind to justify you've taken some, even if they're micro steps forward.
Exactly. It's the way you fight the procrastination, right? Is like, you just need to start, right? So even if that simple task took, and it's like insignificant, it doesn't move your business forward, but the fact that you started, that you opened the next tab, that you actually started working, like, we're entrepreneurs, and after five minutes of doing the work, you're already woken up, you're like completely ready to work. So that could be a trick, just to make sure you actually get back to the work kind of mode there.
Sounds good. And so talk to me about this whole psychology part, because like we can get down in the minutiae. How do you define, I know that you separated them going forward, like timelines. So I understand that to avoid overwhelm, if you're Monday, you don't want to see tasks Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It looks like the Matrix as you scroll.
Yeah.
So you hide all those. Mm-hmm. But what other things do you do to make sure and force yourself into doing the right tasks?
Sure. So I believe it will always come down to planning and of what you want to achieve, right? Because if you don't know like where you're going, in a way, most of the tasks feel like they're important or not important, right? So again, inside Asana, you have recurring tasks. And some of the recurring tasks that I have are monthly planning task, which basically is like on the first or on the beginning of the month, there's a big task saying, okay, let's have a monthly, plan of what's happening. And also I have weekly planning and weekly calls with the team. So on Mondays, let's say in the morning, we have a call with the team. Everybody has their Asana open. And like, okay, what do we have for this week, right? And we go through the task for this week. What do we want to achieve during that week? And this is again very important. On the call, when you agree something with your VAs, for example, okay, you need to do this, and this until Friday. You get them to set up those tasks on the call. You don't hang up and you're like, okay, you know what to do, and then they, come back and try to put the tasks there. No, you actually get those tasks ready on the call. So once the call is ready, they know what to do, and you know what to do. And again, by planning and deciding what do you want to achieve this month, what do you want to achieve this week, then you actually know like what's important. Because there will be tasks on your list that are completely irrelevant to your weekly kind of plan, and they're just nice to have. But if they don't align, they will feel kind of waste of time.
Cool.
So always need to stay on
and staying on point here, like you said about living inside your task manager. You use Google Sites as a wiki, is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
So how do you integrate all of those items, and what's stored on the wiki, and what is like that tree structure you put in place, if it is a tree structure?
Yeah. I believe that it's important to divide everything you do into some kind of sections. Otherwise, you end up with like big bag of mess. So I go with the traditional departments, the ones that we take from the corporate world, sales, marketing, product development, and all that, because it's simply easier to divide those things, right? So all my SOPs are basically divided the same way. So in the wiki that I built on Google Sites, I store the SOPs. And so within the task management, if you ask your VA to do something and the SOP is there, you simply put a direct link to the wiki inside that task. So they don't ask you a question, how do you do it? It's just already there, right? And if they have any questions, they will ask you under that task. And you do that in the morning in the inbox, as I mentioned. So that's that. Also in the wiki, I put some soft content as well. I have things like, company vision, company mission, the core values and all that. That helps me when you try to hire a new person and you try to onboard them. You just send them the wiki and you say, okay, start from the top. there's SOPs there, yes, but on the top you have the important stuff that I want you to know about the company before you start doing those things. So Wiki, just to clarify, like Wiki doesn't just store the hardcore information; it can also store all the soft stuff. I do use the Google Sites, but there's many other solutions, so I encourage you to check them out. There's startups that make it pretty. And Google Sites is great because it's integrated with G Suite, and if you have everything in G Suite, it works perfectly nice. You can restrict access and all that. But if you're not, if you want to try something more cool, more modern, there's I know teamwork.com does Spaces lately.
Yeah.
And there's Slide. Just Google that. I think it's slide.com or get Slide. It's really cool. It's very easy to add new stuff, and it integrates nicely with, for example, Loom. LOOM, that you would use for your screen recording, to record your stuff. So yeah, that's the wiki part.
Okay, so to round things off, what are some of the key tools and stuff that you use? Is there any like Chrome plugins that you use? Is there any like scripts that you use inside of Google Sheets for automation? Do you use Zapier and that kind of thing?
Cool. Basically for let me move my, so I can remind myself about the Chrome apps. Yes. So for Chrome, as I said, I use the Save tabs. That's the good one. And of course, Loom is always installed there and always ready to quickly record a short video to your VA. Okay, and it's not only to use it for SOPs, like full-blown SOPs. It's sometimes it's just like you need to explain them something. And you just send the video of that recording to your VA, and they doesn't have to go back to Wiki. It's just a quick one. I can see one that is very important to mention is the password manager. I use LastPass. So again, that's something very helpful because you can share access to your to your apps without actually sharing the passwords and logins with your VAs. So definitely that's something you should check out. I use Zapier for my personal kind of life arrangements, like for any calls that I want to have, I use Calendly together with Zapier. And Zapier. Now, when I say I live inside Asana, I take it to the extremes of not using my calendar almost. So in a way, when I have an important meeting arranged by Calendly and Zapier, that reminder also goes for that day on Asana. So as you remember, I wake up and look at my task list for today. I will see the reminder about an important meeting generated by the Google Calendar and Zapier. So it all goes back to Asana. You can use filters as well. I wouldn't put like everything that's on my calendar to my Asana because that would kind of go crazy.
Blow it up. Yeah.
But you can use filters. You can use different tags, and then in Zapier you just filter. Okay, from that particular calendar, you can shift those things to Asana. So definitely, I do that.
Cool. Any other plugins or any other little tools that you're using?
Well, nothing that comes to mind at the moment.
Okay. Cool. There's another thing that you do. You make very interesting videos as well. So when we done a seller poll, you had we done a promo video for the announcement, and it was me talking as I usually do in front of the mic, and then it shows in the background you basically making my acoustic tiles in the studio fall off the wall and give November 6th the date. So you've got these little things where you've done it with chips and all sorts. It's hard to explain. I'll in the show notes, I'll show some videos and stuff.
Cool.
But you've got a very unique way of presenting videos of like animation and stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So that quickly began when with my daughter, we were just having some fun, and we were making magic videos, right? When she disappears and wears an invisibility cloak and all that. And because I am, I'm in this whole business for a while, and I know all the video production programs, how to use them. That was easy for me. But then, of course, my entrepreneurial brain was like, okay, this is cool. Can I do something, within our space of Amazon sellers to do something cool there, just for the entertainment, really. There was no agenda there. And it turned out I enjoy it so much. It's not outsourceable. I wouldn't just outsource it so I can get the video. It turned out I can spend hours editing, and I get into this flow state, and I don't know, I tend to relax by doing that. And the cool thing happened that, I put out those cool, funny videos where, I have a lot of jokes about our app where we show the sales on Amazon. And when they disappear or fall off and all that stuff. I put it out there just for fun, and the response was great. It was funny just to watch and get those messages. Some companies reach out to me, so I can do those videos for them commercially, which was surprising.
No, good. I mean, anyone listening to the show, go to the show notes. You'll find them on sellersessions.com. I'll put a couple of videos in there because they are quite unique and they could work very well. Because what it is, the uniqueness is like once you've seen it, right? But that very first reaction, it blows people's mind. It's like, how did he sneak in the background, knock the tiles off the wall, and they just bounced to the floor? And when the one I see that you done, this is why I commissioned you to do one for me, is because it was showing something to do with hate costs and these chips fell off the wall. It's like crazy. And it was like that first reaction. And I think it'd be great for product videos for Amazon sellers, depending on the products that they're selling. There could be some quite good little angles there. It's a novelty way of doing things. And it's working out, can you take that and then come up with different nuances as well, different styles?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can, because, when I stay in this idea of doing it only for like our community, you kind of tend to limit yourself. But if you go to like product videos, the possibilities are endless. And what's important here is also, this attention span in the video, we know is very short. So if you do something cool, like in the first 10 seconds of the video, you get the benefit of like people, getting their attention onto your product. So that's definitely,
Sounds good. So if people want to reach out, consult, anything like that, what's the best way that they can reach you?
Sure. I live under amazingworksystem.com, and that's the best place. There's a lot of free information there, free blog and other things there. So anything related to systematization, it's there, amazingworksystem.com.
Excellent. Marcin, thanks for coming in. Guys, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.